Chiefs Kingdom, welcome back to All Chiefed Up. We're back with another podcast for that ass, and today we're talking Rashee Rice. He is wide receiver number 1. Fight me.
Before we get the show started, make sure to hit that like button. It helps us out tremendously. Also, subscribe if you haven't done that yet. We're the best Chiefs channel out there, so do it. Hey, let's talk about Rashee Rice, baby. He looks pretty good when they give him the damn ball, but they have to do that. They got to get him on the field. Mike, MVS, Skyy Moore are getting more snaps and more routes ran than any other receivers on the team, and they are the least productive. That's gross.
They're doing nothing. Charles Goldman writes this today from Matt Nagy. Offensive coordinator Matt Nagy on Rashee Rice earning more snaps. I think he is. I think it's a growth process. This process does take time. He started to understand the different levels in his own coverage. We're seeing someone slowly gain confidence. There's immense growth ahead of him, and that's the exciting part. Steve, I'm excited to see it. We're excited to see Rashee Rice. You just talked about efficiency on route ran. Adam Best over here throws up yards per route run, 2023 KC wide receivers. Rice at the top at 2.93. And, of course, Skyy Moore and MVS haven't even hit a yard yet. And he's right. Throw up emojis everywhere. That just shows you how ineffective they are. Those two guys, not only is MVS making the most money, but he's not producing. So what's going on? Are they not getting open? Is it route concept? Does Patrick Mahomes not want to throw him the ball? It's time to get Rashee Rice more involved. These guys aren't cutting it. I'm over it. Let's put Rashee Rice in there. Let's get him going.
Yeah, for sure. That stat is a little bit misleading because the more routes you run, obviously it's going to be a lower number. But that does show you how ineffective they are when they're on the field. We definitely need to see some kind of shakeup here because I think people are getting tired of seeing a lot of MVS and a lot of Skyy Moore. And whether they're getting used incorrectly or they're just not performing, something's got to get shook up here, man. It's just not working out, and people are tired of watching the same thing over and over again. Nothing more frustrating than that. But I think with Rashee Rice, he's really got to improve on his run blocking. I'm seeing him miss some blocks here and there that are causing plays to come to a halt. If he could work on that, I think they'd have him on the field more often, and I think he'll produce even more.
Right. I know he can run block. I've seen it happen. Maybe he's not so consistent. We had this brought up. Graham Barfield says Skyy Moore's route share, this was a season low against the Vikings on Sunday, 51%. Meanwhile, Rashee Rice route share has risen in 3 straight games from 11 to 46 to 49. So although his route share is going up, it's still not that great. We still see that right here looking at the week 5 snap count. You see Rashee Rice all the way at the bottom with 20. He had 20, but he still had 6 receptions on just 10 routes ran. Justin Ross, by the way, 6. He goes down to 6, but he gets 4 targets. He drops 2. He makes 2 pretty good catches. Again, MVS at the top at 43. You've got Skyy Moore at 37. Justin Watson at 29. Kadarius Toney at 25. Good stat about Kadarius Toney, by the way. He was averaging over 5 yards of separation. Mahomes still wasn't getting him the ball. So
right.
Mahomes is not really getting a lot of people the ball. Let's just put it that way. What is it? Is it route concept? What is it? Because these guys are running routes like crazy. Skyy Moore's running them. MVS is running them. Rashee Rice is barely running them. But he'll throw to Rashee Rice.
Right.
So we think.
Well, this kind of goes against what Matt Nagy was saying about the Chiefs offense. He said they're never going to have that guy that gets 18 targets a game. He said that Patrick Mahomes is a good enough quarterback. He can spread the ball around the field, and it keeps defenses on their heels, basically. They don't know where the ball's going to go. He said that these defensive coordinators cannot game plan for 1 target or 2 targets, that he can spread the ball throughout. But I tell you who they don't have to plan for, MVS or Skyy Moore. They know they're not getting the damn ball, so why would they even think about it?
Wide receivers. Why do you think they're just double and triple teaming Kelsey? Like, it's getting absurd. This is one I found from Adam Leviton. I think that's how he's pronounced. Surprised by the step back in Rashee Rice's role yesterday, Chiefs wide receiver routes on 43 dropbacks from Mahomes. MVS at 29, Skyy Moore at 23, Watson at 23, Rashee Rice all the way down at 10. And the thing is, he did earn 5 targets, which brings his whopping target share to 36.4. So when he does run routes, Mahomes looks his way, he gets open, he makes things happen. Skyy Moore's not doing it. I'm tired of talking about Skyy Moore. They're not using him properly. It's done. Just put him on the bench. Let Rashee Rice have it. Let Rashee Rice have it. Let Justin Ross have it. I don't care. Let Ross have MVS.
Obviously, they wanted somebody to be McCole Hardman now that he's gone. And we see how that works out for any other team in the NFL because he was a healthy scratch the other day. They don't even want him in New York. They don't need him. They don't want him. And that's what we're turning Skyy Moore into. Right. A guy that's so one-dimensional, a guy that can only go out and do gadget things. Like, I don't know. I'm definitely not smarter than Andy Reid or Matt Nagy when it comes to this stuff. But I feel like Skyy Moore's got to get the ball in space. Let him create yards after the catch. It's what Rashee Rice is good at too. But we just haven't seen a whole lot of it. But either way, man, if they can't figure it out, they might as well just move on from him.
Right. So is Justin Watson wide receiver 1? I actually released a short this morning. Go check that out. But by the way, he had a 71.7 offensive PFF grade and a 75.3 receiving grade against Minnesota. Compare that to Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice was a 74.8 and a 74 receiving grade. Those two are our best receivers. They're definitely battling it out for number 1 right now. It's just those two right now and nobody else.
What's a wide receiver 1? It's the first read as far as wide receivers go. We all know what Patrick Mahomes does when he gets the ball. He looks at Travis Kelce, and then he looks at Justin Watson. That's what he's doing this year.
That seems to be it.
Straight up. So, I mean, by all means, yeah, he's wide receiver 1 right now. I would love to think that Kadarius Toney could have took that role, or MVS, but they're not even touching it. Kadarius Toney, maybe.
Right. Well, you see what happened when Kelce got injured in the first half. He throws that one to the sideline. Justin Watson makes a toe tap catch, but extends the drive.
That's who he trusts, man. That's like his go-to in those situations. Like Justin Watson has been clutch this season, especially in the Vikings game. But that just shows you who Mahomes has the most trust in besides Kels, because Kels ain't on the field. What do we do?
Right. First possession coming out of halftime. He throws it deep to Justin Watson. He don't have Kelce out there. And then he finds Rashee Rice in the end zone. That seems to be the only two he wants to look towards. I don't think nobody else is getting open. Something's going on. That's a different conversation, different day. Let's move on to the Week 6 Broncos injury report. That got listed today, Steve. This is what we see. Travis Kelce, ankle was listed. Nick Bolton still got an ankle. Matt Dickerson. George Karlaftis, that's the one that intrigues me a little bit. A hamstring injury. Do you think the hammy is what was causing Karlaftis to be so ineffective yesterday? Because I said that I thought Karlaftis had not a very good game against Minnesota compared to what we've seen George Karlaftis up to before Week 5.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely could play a factor. I don't know if it was already injured. I didn't see him on the injury report before the game, so I'm thinking it's something that happened during the game.
Right.
Either way, George Karlaftis, he's always a half step slow getting to the quarterback. He can create all the pressure in the world, but he just has a hard time closing it, man. He can't just get there. That's just flat out all there is to it. Felix, on the other hand, looks like he has a little bit more speed than George, but to be quite honest about it, they're kind of looking the same right now.
Yeah, they look a lot of the same. I'd love to see Felix step up a little bit more. I was a little tough on him yesterday in the post-game reaction, but at the same time, I still stick by what I want. I think Felix is good enough to be that guy. Go out there and show it. Just put together back-to-back good plays over and over again. Don't just make one play and then disappear for the whole half. I mean, come on. That's all I'm asking for. But look, early in the season, we were rough on L'Jarius Sneed in Week 1. He looked pretty bad in Week 1. A lot of people don't want to talk about L'Jarius Sneed in Week 1. They're just going to go ahead and skip that one.
Skip it all together.
Like it never happened.
I've noticed that too, yes.
Yeah, Ron Kopp says PFF tracks cornerbacks versus wide receiver the past 4 weeks. So we've left off Week 1. Ridley, 5 targets, 2 catches, 32. Moore, 4 targets, 1 reception, 3 yards. Garrett Wilson, 6 targets, 3 receptions. Jefferson, 3 targets, 2 receptions. 44% catch rate and only 17 yak yards allowed on 8 catches. Steve, is it time we reevaluate Sneed? You said, and I've said, that Sneed's not been that impressive. We said he gets beat a lot, and he has up until this year. He's allowed the most catches of anybody in football for the past 2 years. So we have that working for you. But are they going to pay him? Everybody in Chiefs Kingdom's now saying, look, this is Sneed has got elite. He's joined the elite ranks. We got to pay him this time. No matter what he wants, we pay him.
I'm still on a no there. I just don't think that we're going to pay a corner a big bunch of money. I'll tell you what L'Jarius Sneed's doing. First of all, we did critique him in Week 1. The reason was he wasn't all that great in coverage in Week 1, and also he was missing tackles left and right. We think it could have been something to do with his knee and that healing process, so maybe that's what it is, but he has looked really good in the last few weeks. You got to give him that. And I'll tell you what he's doing, dude. He's up in his stock for the entire league. He's going to make himself known like, hey, this guy is a shutdown corner. And guess what? He's going to get absolutely paid, bro.
Right.
And it's not going to be by the Chiefs. I just don't think we have the money to do it. And we have a guy named Trent McDuffie out here doing the same thing on the other side of the field.
I'm curious to see if the Chiefs would open up a little bit more and give more than we think they would to L'Jarius Sneed. I like L'Jarius Sneed, but look, we were hard on him in week 1. I threw this graphic up. We'll look at it together. He had 4 missed tackles in week 1. He had 2 missed tackles in week 2. In week 2, we said, though, against Jacksonville, we were like, he does look a little better than he did in week 1, and we give him the credit. And then over the last 3 weeks, only 1 missed tackle in 3 weeks.
Beautiful.
Very good. Only 18 receptions on 31 targets. Better. Look, week 1, he allowed 100% reception rate.
Yes.
So I think it was very, very credible of us to just say, look, Sneed, maybe the knee's bothering you a little bit. Like we said, it was a little bit of rust knocking off.
A little rusty.
But it wasn't bad to critique him in week 1. People are acting like this is crazy. But here it is again. This is his coverage grade. 3 for 3 week 1, 8 for 4, 5 for 2, 7 for 4, 8 for 5. He's not giving up a lot of yardage, only 185 on the season. So I will say this. Sneed looked very good. I thought his best game has been Minnesota so far. Minnesota by far. He made a great play there in the game with like under a minute to go when he just dove out, knocks that ball down. Sneed looked good. Sneed, look, when Sneed plays well, Sneed does look good. When Sneed looks bad, Sneed looks bad. It's kind of like the Mahomes factor. You see that a lot.
Right. I wouldn't exactly compare him to Patrick Mahomes on the defensive side of the ball or anything crazy like that, but L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie, quit looking at me like that.
Nobody did that.
I know.
Troll. Get off X. You've been on X too long, bro. Like you're just going to turn everything into a fight and a troll.
All right. Anyway, what I was saying that L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie, they deserve all the credit in the world for that Vikings game. They went against the best receiver in the entire National Football League, and they shut him absolutely down and made him a non-factor. It got so bad. They were so, like, Mike, they were just, like, playing old school, man. They were out there beating him around, making his life miserable. He wanted nothing to do with it. I think that's why he had an injury in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they're not going to rush him back, but we'll see. As long as they don't play the Chiefs again, I think he'll be back sometime soon. But, yeah, man, I think the defense looked good, and I'm going to give Sneed credit. He started the year rough, and I think rightfully so. Don't miss tackles. Let's just not miss tackles.
That's just
all
the
we
worst,
don't want.
man. That's one thing that I've noticed about this team on the defense compared to the last few years. Overall, together, they're better tacklers. You see a lot more gang tackling this year. People's around the ball. They're just making good plays. Last thing we want to see is guys missing tackles, and that's what Sneed did in week 1. Other than that, he's been phenomenal this year.
Right. So we had a new week. Week 5, it was a new controversy. It was a new Chiefs get favored by the officials. Every week there's a new one. Did we think it was going to be a helmet this week? What could it be next week? We will have to tune in and find out on Thursday night. It wasn't just a
helmet, Mike. It was 3 fouls on one play that they ignored, okay?
Check this out, though, by the way. I found this today. In 2023, through 5 games, the Chiefs are actually tied for 6th, had the most penalties against us with 33. Carolina leads it at 41, then Denver at 37, New Orleans at 36, Arizona at 36, Dallas at 35, Indy at 34, and then we're tied at 33. For a team that, the NFL cheats for, we sure do get a lot of flags thrown our way, Steve.
Right. I think they're just throwing a lot of flags early just to make it look good. That way, when it really matters, they can cheat for the Chiefs. Just like with L'Jarius Sneed there, he was obviously pass interfering because Jordan Addison was trying his hardest to get to that ball that was thrown 10 yards behind him.
Right.
And just Sneed stopped him, and then he threw his helmet off and cussed at the referee, and nothing got done.
Are we starting to see a pattern? Against the Jets, they threw the flag late. You were not supposed to throw that flag. That could have affected the outcome of the game.
I'll tell you
and
the pattern.
Then L'Jarius Sneed, they threw the flag, but they picked it up. But
Mike,
now you're supposed to throw the flag.
The Chiefs have officially taken over the villain role from the New England Patriots. That is what the Chiefs are now. Everyone hates them. They do not want to see them win, and they will always look for the most ridiculous excuses to complain, whine, and say they cheat. And I'll tell you where it starts. The freaking commentators. If you've not noticed, every time the Chiefs are playing, they do their damnedest to make sure to point out anything that could possibly be controversy and then beat that dead horse for 20 minutes straight just to get the internet going. So, I mean, this is all planned thing. Hey, it really is.
Got to get the internet going. Got to get the pitchforks out, Steve. But you know what? At the end of the day, Chiefs Kingdom, we just live in the heads rent-free of everybody else in the NFL. And me and you, all chiefed up, should live in the heads rent-free of everybody here. So if you haven't already, like, subscribe, hit that bell. We'll see you guys next time. Go Chiefs.
'cause aside from my soul,